Let's get into that first topic now, though. Should Farage stop saying that Britain is lawless? Reform leader Nigel Farage has defended his 6-week Lawless Britain summer campaign on crime. He was asked by a Sky News reporter if he was just using Project Fear to drum up votes, and here's his response.
No, they are afraid. They are afraid. I dare you to walk through the West End of London after 9 o'clock of an evening wearing jewellery. You wouldn't do it. You know that I'm right. You wouldn't do it. And that's just in London, let alone what's happening in so many other parts of the country.
Well, the reporter in question has written a response to say she does regularly walk through London at night. And though theft and knife crime are legitimate concerns many people do have, the possession of weapons has fallen in the past 3 years. There's been a 3/4 drop in violent crime since the 90s. Let's have a look at specific numbers. The changes since last year: fraud up 31%, theft up 4%, but violence down 2%, criminal damage down 8%, murder down 6%, robbery down 3%. I don't know, JJ, the things that I am most worried about happening to me out on the street seem to be on the way down. So is Britain lawless or not?
It depends on which sources you use, because I've got sources that tell me there's a 44% rise in street crime, over 1 million incidents of antisocial behaviour. That's not on there. Ultimately, Matt, it doesn't matter what the statistics say. People feel what they are seeing themselves. So that's what we judge it on. I walk down the high street. I am seeing people shoplifting. I am seeing people's phones being stolen. Someone's tried to take my phone at least 3 times in the last year when I'm out on the street. That's what people are seeing. So is the country becoming lawless? It is, because even when people's phones are stolen and you call the police often say, we can't do anything. Here's the address. I'm finding my phone. This is the address where my phone has been taken to. And the police say, there's nothing we can do about it. File a number.
That's investigation of the crime, right? That's actually coming to a solution about it.
Yeah.
Are you saying that you feel more danger on the streets? And let's face it,
100%.
JJ, you're a big fella.
I am.
You know, if anybody's going to feel confident on the streets, it would be you.
Yeah.
You're saying you feel worse than you did, let's say, in the 90s or the noughties?
Yeah, I think so. I don't recall when I was, like 10 years ago, seeing people having their Rolexes taken off their hands. I don't recall seeing people on mopeds stealing phones 10 years ago. That's the crimes that I think people are now seeing and fearing, that there's a lawlessness around, because people, the criminals, feel they can do these things and get away with it.
OK, here's a question, right? When we look at those figures, and these are ONS figures, Office of National Statistics, the most important one there at the top, 31% rise over 1 year in fraud, scams. Why isn't Nigel talking about those?
Well, he's not talking about those because those aren't, those kind of a fraud, generally speaking, is going to happen via email or these text messages and things. That's not what people are afraid of. People are afraid of the physical threat of
It's because it doesn't bring that strong emotional response. Fraud, people don't resonate with they don't think of fraud and it's not as shocking.
Yeah.
I think he needs that tangible, scary narrative to kind of project his kind of fear narrative.
Well, would you wear a Rolex out in central London after 9 p.m? Would you walk around by yourself with a Rolex on?
I mean, I don't think that people... Yeah, I would actually. I think being savvy and being safe, I do think it's awful. But the problem isn't the lawlessness, it's the lack of enforcement on specific crimes. So the visibility of crime is bigger than ever, despite crimes being down. So we are constantly bombarded with images on social media of all this shocking stuff happening.
Is he contributing to that by saying that this is a lawless country? Is it actually, if we're actually concerned about the fear of crime, isn't he adding fuel to the flame?
Absolutely, he's adding fuel to the fire. I've seen people walk in and out of shops in London. They don't cover their faces. They don't try and conceal their identity. They're walking in, taking whatever they like, whether it's alcohol, meat, toiletries. And I don't buy this narrative of, it's a cost of living crisis, people are stealing food. They're not stealing food to eat. They're stealing stuff to sell.
Yeah.
And the reason they're not covering their faces is because they know for a fact that they're not going to be prosecuted for it, because the police are not investigating shoplifting. They're not investigating phone thefts. It's something like 120,000 phones were stolen in London alone.
Every 6 minutes in London, a phone is stolen. Every 6 minutes.
OK,
but what happens if you ring the police? You ring the police and they say, we'll give you a crime reference number. number and claim on your insurance. What a ridiculous thing to do. There was a couple that lived near me. I don't know them personally, but I saw the story in my local paper. They live in Chiswick, and they had their Jaguar SUV stolen. And they had very smartly put an Apple AirTag in it. And so they called the police and they said, our car's been stolen. We know exactly where it is. It's here on the street. And the police said, what do you want us to do? Just ring your insurance. It's gone. You know, there's no saying that it'll still be there. That might just be the
Again,
AirTag.
that's detection. That's not the incidence of the crime, because all the figures there, the scariest stuff is coming down. And certainly since the 1990s, the violent crime that we've seen has come down dramatically in that time.
But do you know what has changed in that time is the currency of fear is now, you know, everything is social media, right? So our attention...
Doom scrolling.
Our attention is so much more drawn towards negative things.
OK, is that not, again, if the fear of the crime is the thing that we should be most concerned about, should we be suspicious of people who are saying that things are worse than they actually are?
Absolutely, absolutely. We should, but people like Nigel Farage is driving this narrative because it helps his case. It's fear-mongering, but they're all fear-mongering. All the stuff we see, whether it's, you know, even mainstream, mainstream media. You've got newspapers. You get everything. If you looked at the news, you'd think we're in the scariest times that we've ever lived in. But we've lived in the safest times we've ever lived in. But what we do have is our attentions are being pulled in all different directions, and the things that will keep our attention are the things that are the scariest.
I don't think Nigel is driving this. I think Nigel Farage is saying what many of us in this country feel, and that's it. You may not agree with him. You may think, OK, well, the stats say different. But if I'm seeing people stealing from shops and they don't care, if I'm seeing people jumping on trains without paying, that to me is lawlessness. OK, and that's what Nigel is saying.
So whether it's news or whether it's social media, wherever you're seeing it, negative news attracts 63% more attention than neutral or negative news. So, you know, that's basically what's driving it. And Nigel's, he's capitalising on that. He knows that crime is down, but what he's doing is saying, OK, let's make people afraid to make drastic action. And
let's take some calls. Thanks, guys. Christine's in Norfolk. What do you think? Should Nigel Farage stop calling the country lawless? Is he running the country down, Christine?
I believe that he's correct. I believe that the judiciary are totally ignoring the guide given by the Bail Act and releasing people on bail when they clearly should be locked up.
OK, our prisons are full. Our prisons are full, Christine. We've got early release schemes so that we free up space to include actually the people that were caught up in for instance, the riots after Southport. You know,
yes,
that's lawlessness. That's genuine lawlessness we see on our streets.
That is, and why are those people released? The government came in and immediately released prisoners who were due to serve lengthy sentences, and suddenly they were back out on the streets.
OK, because we had no more space in our prisons.
Then that's something that should be dealt with.
OK.
They haven't built prisons in years. So people, instead of going to prison, are released, all ready to run away somewhere. OK,
Christine, where you live in Norfolk, what incidences of lawlessness are you witnessing?
In the city, there are probably what I would say are youngsters' crimes, fights. There are also thefts. I mean, this is where figures get massaged because the crime could be probably a charge of robbery, but gets reduced to a crime of theft. OK. So this is where figures get massaged.
OK, we've got robbery down by 3%. We've got theft up by 4%. As I understand it, robbery includes some kind of aggravation, some kind of violence. Theft could be pickpocketing. So do you not trust these figures, Christine? Is that what you're saying here?
I don't trust the figures, no. I think the gentleman just stated that he had a different set of figures.
Well, I'm going to go with the Office of National Statistics. Call me old-fashioned. I'm going to take that as my gold standard. What's wrong with that?
As I say, they get massaged, that's why.
I think Christine makes a very good point, Matt, because several people I know who've had, for example, their phone stolen don't even bother to report the crime because they feel nothing's going to happen, so the crime doesn't get reported.
We've only got ourselves to blame for that, haven't we? I mean,
no, if you've ever tried to ring the police to report a crime like this, it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
The only reason you'll actually ring the police is to get a crime reference number
Yeah.
so that you can claim on your insurance.
Okay, I believe the ONS figures are based on surveys rather than crime reports
which is
as
probably
such.
more reliable.
You would think people would be more open
Yes.
that way than they would
Yeah.
if they were deterred from reporting the crime in the first place.
Yeah.
But you have to get a crime
But
number to get an
are
insurance
we not
claim.
living in a bit of a Black Mirror sort of situation where there's people currently serving time in prison for sending offensive social media messages, yet there's people stealing phones and brazenly stealing from shops when they have absolutely no fear of being arrested?
I don't take incitement to violence as being a minor thing. If people are going to get hurt,
It's not always incitement to violence.
Why should it be one thing and not the other? I mean, why
Well,
can't it be both? Why can't we prosecute both of those crimes?
It can be both, but we're not prosecuting the shoplifters and the phone stealers. They're not being prosecuted. That's why they're doing it, because they have absolutely no recourse. It's selective enforcement. So, and you know, I don't blame the police. They're working within whatever framework they've got, but whatever the system is now is not working. The fact that thieves do not care, they're not trying to hide themselves. They're not trying to hide what they're doing. They're not afraid. So
that sense of brazenness, do you think that affects people's fear of crime? Is that it seems to be too open
Exactly.
at the moment?
Seeing videos of bike gangs with chainsaws or
Open in the middle of the day.
But you're seeing
stealing
videos
bikes.
of them, JJ. They're not happening in your street, and that's
They are
what I
happening
wonder.
in
It's
my-
just
they are.
the way that we are recording these things and sharing them is contributing to our fears. Exactly what Claudia
I
said.
stopped a bike thief myself. I spoke about it in the show before. There's video footage and pictures of me holding the bike thief down for an hour waiting for the police to turn up. It's happening all over the place. By me, Broadway Market, where I live, Dalston, bike thefts are through the roof. And people will have their bike stolen in the morning and they'll go onto whatever site they're being sold on and get them back in the afternoon.
Okay, listen, we're going to move on, take another call. Thanks for your call, Christine. Janice is in Essex. Are you scared of lawlessness? Does it represent the world that you see, Janice?
Not anymore, because I don't really go out that much. But I think the thing is that, you know, people are screaming at us that they can't clean up London. And I think Nigel was right. We've got to do something, because the police are taking no notice. They consider most things, unless you've been macheted, as a low-life crime.
Janice,
So
Janice,
you're not going to get
how do you
anything
know
done.
this? With the greatest of respect, Janice, how do you know this if you don't leave the house?
I do watch it on TV. I'm boring like that. Okay, you can't believe in everything you see. I get that. But I filled out quite a lot of ONS figures as well. And I'm not sure if I 100% believe them, because everything I put down weren't true.
Where are you getting your evidence of the crime that's taking place on the streets then? You don't trust the statistics that are provided for us by,
news.
By the ONS, and you don't leave the house. How are you knowing what's really going on? Where are you getting it all from?
Well, I do watch the news, and I do watch one particular channel that I think are quite on the ball with it.
Okay.
And
Shall I guess which one it is?
You know, yeah, go on. JJ knows it very well.
Okay, and you get most of your news from that channel at the times when you're not with us?
Quite a bit. But I watch... Oh, no, I'm with you as well. You're the only two I ever watch.
Bless you, Janice.
No, I
Thank
don't
you
watch
for that.
BBC and all that, because I don't feel I get an honest opinion on it.
Okay, but you're not seeing this in your neighbourhood necessarily. You haven't been targeted by
bad.
crime. This information is coming from the channels that you select to give you the information that you hope are unbiased, that you trust for whatever reason you choose.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they are. I think, well, you two are. I think you're not biased, are you? So, and I know GB News get out there and they get out in the thick of it. So you are seeing things on the news where you've got young men running around with machetes. You can't tell me that's not happening.
It might be happening, but
I'm lucky I'm in Clacton. It's not bad.
Well, God bless you, Janice. Clacton's a beautiful part of the world. Maybe what you're seeing, the machetes, that sort of stuff, that sort of activity is happening in a very limited way, but being spread across all of the media because people love to watch that sort of thing, because it gives them a weird thrill. What do you think about that idea?
Well, I do. I get where you're coming from, but Nigel Farage can't come down here because he gets mobbed, and that's not in a good way. So, you know, it's fearful for him. He has to have so much security that he can't come here anymore.
Is that why
So
he doesn't
you
spend
can't
much
say
time in
it's
his own
safe.
constituency, Janice?
Yeah.
It is. That's
can't
the
come here.
reason. Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, thanks for your call, Janice. I hope you managed to get out and about and see the world. You shouldn't be stuck in your house if you can possibly avoid it. Neil's in South Yorkshire. Neil, do we live in a lawless society? Is that what you're seeing in South Yorks?
Definitely.
Okay.
100%.
How is it lawless?
I'll give my experience. I'm ex-military. I've also spent many years with front ambulance services.
Okay.
Okay? You see, case of burglaries, what do you get? A crime number. That is
Okay.
it.
That's the investigation.
Assault, I've been personally assaulted on the ambulance service. What does CPS do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing for me.
Okay.
So,
Again, that's the way the crime is responded to. What we're talking about is whether there is more crime generally.
definitely. Absolutely, definitely. You see the amount of burglaries, you see the amount of physical abuse, especially to ladies. Physical abuse, rape.
How do you know that? How do you know there's more than there used to be, Neil, and that it's not just being reported on the news more?
Excuse me, 30 years with front ambulance service, mate. I know. I've seen it. I've seen the repercussions of these sort of assaults on ladies. It's disgusting what's happening.
And there's more than there was when you started.
Oh, definitely more. Physical assaults on individuals have escalated. What is this society coming to now? We'll get a knife out, or I'll stab someone.
So you don't trust these figures
Shoot someone.
that we've got here from the Office of National Statistics. You don't trust these figures at all because your own personal experience is that the incidence is up.
Yeah, fraud, I agree, massively. Theft, massively.
Yep.
Violence, that's 2%. You are joking. Because crimes are not reported now. The ambulance staff who work throughout the whole country have seen so much more incidents of violence and violent assault and criminal damage, yet property and people and persons, human beings, but they're not reported because why? The general public do not believe in reporting because what's going to happen?
Okay, Neil, we have to move on, but just to say again, this is from a survey. It's not from reported crime statistics. So hopefully this will be a different reflection, maybe a different reflection of the way these crimes are being experienced in our communities. Anyway, thanks for your call, Neil.